every evening when the sun goes down, get with my party and I begin to clown. I don't care what the people are thinking. I'm not drunk, I'm just a drinking. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. I set 'em up, another round. One more round won't get me down.
So the song Lola by the Kinks, it was pretty much like that.
Oh, mate, we've all been there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So anyway,
I usually pay for it.
I believe that. Welcome to Drinking with Fear.
Hey, oh.
And my name is Pete Selby, and I am alongside Wayne Miller.
Hello.
And Ben Roper.
Good evening. Very mysterious with my name there.
It is.
Were you not sure it was me?
No, I believe it's you.
Yeah.
And everyone else does now. But
It's the makeup.
I've got my name written in my pants.
Yeah.
That my mum used to do for me. So
Yeah,
if
could you
you
put
want to
them
see
back
that,
on,
I can
please?
guarantee it's definitely me.
Just put your pants back on.
Okay, fair enough.
So welcome to Drinking with Fear. Now we'll go around the table in what we're drinking. Now I've got the Selby fighting juice on the go. I've got the old Kronenberg, which, to be fair, again, my old man used to drink Kronenberg, and it was my choice of beer. So when you were younger, and you're talking like 16, 17, and you used to drink, whatever you could get your hands on. And I remember I had a birthday party. Well, it wasn't really. Actually, I think it was just a party anyway. But
You
it
had
was
just
my
just
birthday.
one birthday party as you were growing up.
It was. I want to say it was when I was 17. It definitely wasn't when I was 18. It might have been 16, but I think it was 17. And it was round a friend of ours' house, and another mate of ours went to get some beer because he could get served at Cellar 5 at a shop that you could get beer from and that. An offie, basically, and so he's asking everyone there at the party, saying, "Oh yeah, what do you want?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll have a Carling, I'll have this, I'll have that, I'll have the other," and and of course it came around to me. So what do you want? I was like, "I have a created Kronenberg, please." And I was like, "What?" So I was like, "No, exactly, that was it." So of course, come back with basically 6 crates of beer or whatever
At the age of 17.
17.
It packs a punch, Kronenberg does.
I remember I was wearing a bright orange shirt, plain orange shirt.
Were you working as a binman at the time?
Yeah.
It's 5%.
And basically, everyone obviously got pretty pissed off the beer and stuff. I couldn't see. I was drinking Kronenberg, the same as everyone else was drinking like Carling or whatever,
Yeah,
the gowns
Heineken or the old
Hooch or whatever. I was on the bloody Kronenberg, and it just absolutely ruined me. And all I remember was walking back the next day, and my shirt was just rigid with like beer, and it was horrible. But like I was on the Kronenberg, and I don't really drink it. There's a pub local to us here who I'm pretty sure still serves it, but it just you can't drink it now because it's so strong. For me, it's too strong.
It's kind of replaced Stella from my upbringing. Really, so going through beers that I used to drink when I was a kid, it was always the choice of.
I'll pour it while you're telling this.
Good, make the noises. So yeah, it used to be like Foster's, Carling, and then if you wanted a proper good night out, you go on the Stella.
What are you doing to that pint?
Well, I'm doing it.
Have you ever been a barman ever?
I'm trying to get the sound effect rather than the perfect.
You've got 8 inches of head on there, which is
Which is usually a good night.
probably
but
will
not
be
in for a beer.
the title of your obituary.
He's got about 10 inches of your head.
I've
If you've seen Selby's head, it's quite substantial.
second biggest head in a year.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Who was the
Pretty
first, Maury?
You just answered your own question. Yeah, I do have an extremely large head, mainly because I'm super intelligent and smart. But I do.
That doesn't come across though, Pete.
It's a family trait, and but it turns out it's the second biggest. During this was measured actually, and it was measured at the same time as the Great Drinking Contest
of 1664. Or
the Great Drinking Contest. It happened in Buster's, which is it was like a bar / nightclub in Loughborough.
I love Buster's.
Yeah, that's going back.
It's going back.
I loved it. It had the zone out back.
It had a different zone. So if you couldn't go in the main entrance, they had a separate entrance for the nightclub area, the club bits, and you could always get in there.
You could sneak
Yeah,
in.
you
You could always get in there. But anyway, our year at school, so you're talking like 17 years old or whatever, we're in Buster's and we decided that we need to find out who can drink the most. And left standing was myself and the other person who Wayne mentioned, and we were drinking absinthe.
Oh.
And
at the age of 17.
we decided when we got to the point where we both could barely stand, and
At what point was that though? So what did you put down? Yeah,
there was a lot of beer drank.
when you say a lot, you were 17. So how much you put down? 5 pints.
There was a lot of beer, and basically we went on the absinthe, and we were the last people standing. There was a lot of people there watching, and we both, to the crowd's disappointment, decided that we were going to stop and call it a draw.
Oh.
Only then.
So you've decided, I'm guessing, that the way to decide the winner is to measure your heads.
No, the only during that contest,
Sounds
everyone
like
went, you two have the biggest head, so that we actually measured the heads at the time, and it turns out his was like half an inch bigger, which was incredible. Because I was like,
Were you upset with that?
Slightly, because I was like, there's no way in hell, and it turns out it was. But because I just thought I had the biggest head. But anyway, after we decided it was a draw, only then that a mutual friend turned around and says, you, pointing to me, were drinking £3 shots of it, and he was only drinking £1.50 shots, which we didn't know. He did not know either.
So you're drinking doubles then?
I was drinking doubles and he was drinking singles, so we
Oh,
called
you
it a
won
draw.
then.
I declared myself the winner, to which he was like, no, but because we were so hammered, we just kind of like fell apart and hugged, and that was it. But it was a complete disaster. But we were 17. Anyway, so I'm on the Kronenberg. Wayne, what do you want?
I've got Bavaria. Bavaria?
Bavaria.
I'm going for Bavaria as well.
Yeah.
Which is a Dutch beer.
That was when I was growing up. That was you got to about 15, and your old man would let you have a couple of drinks or something, and that was the beer that I was allowed to drink.
Did you ever drink the little stubbies?
Yeah, from Aldi.
Yeah, the
Gold top.
the little
things.
stubbies
Yes.
that used to get from Calais.
They're still great at barbecues, aren't they?
Always at barbecues.
Yeah.
Always at barbecues. And then maybe the odd one that was full put on the barbecue and exploded.
No, I've never gone that far.
I've never had that experience.
You're quite weird, aren't you, Pete? Really?
So,
Cultured, I like to say.
For what change have you gone for?
Me, I'm on Carlsberg. Probably the best beer. Probably the best lager. And I actually agree with that, if I'm honest. I do like a nice pint of Carlsberg.
It tastes like piss, Ben.
It doesn't taste like piss.
I don't mind a Carlsberg.
No, it's nice.
It's horrible.
What makes it horrible?
The fact that I think it's horrible, that makes it horrible.
Okay, well, it must be right then if you think so.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that my personal opinion is it tastes like piss.
I think it's like an upgraded Carling.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think
I
Carling
see,
tastes
I
a bit
wouldn't.
grassy.
I
There's a nice little tang to it.
I
the end
mean,
of it.
Carling, if it's a really cold Carling, I like it. But I would always go for a Carling over a Carlsberg.
So what do you think is the worst beer?
Skull.
Straight in with the Skull.
Skull, every
Carlsberg, to
time.
be fair, would be fairly high up on it, really. But
Can you still get Skull? I've never seen Skull on a pump.
no.
It's only ever in a can, isn't it? He had a good advert. It was on the like Hagar the Viking. Was it?
Yes.
He was drinking Skull.
It's also only pre-1994 as well. Used to get like darts tournaments sponsored by Skoll, but no, for me, Skoll actually was quite a good shout. I and this is not just because you said it, but generally Carlsberg. If you're talking about the standard beers that you see in pubs, right? And you walk in and they've got Carling, they've got Foster's, they've got Carlsberg. You've got now things like Moretti and that, quite Staroprav and a lot of beers like that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Carlsberg stands out as being the one that I literally would not pick.
Nah, that would be my go-to one. That one.
And I would then venture.
I'm very lowbrow though, Pete. I can't read. Remember,
we figured that out after a number of episodes. But I would even venture towards the bottles before. Going for a
mate, don't
Carlsberg.
get me started on bottles.
No,
Why
not
would you
at
ever
all.
buy a bottle?
Oh no, it'd be a big bottle. Like it's Kronenberg. This is a big bottle.
So would you go towards
660 ml?
Would you go towards buying a Budweiser that's half a pint for the same price as a Carlsberg?
Actually, you found the weakness because you know I don't like Budweiser either.
Yeah.
No, I know that.
I would go for a Carlsberg over a Budweiser.
There we go.
There we go.
Controversial.
It's
So
controversial.
So would you go for a Skull over a Budweiser?
Probably just for a laugh, really.
I can't even remember the last time I had a Skull.
Really?
Yeah.
When
It's-
was
it's,
you say when was the last time you had a Skull? When was the last time, or have you ever been in a fight?
Ooh. Have we gone to that? Is that the effect of the skull?
I've never been in a fight, but I have been close to a fight, and it actually involves you, Mr. Selby.
I think I'm there. I'm at that point right now.
Not actually fighting with him.
Well, hang on, wait. To the best of my knowledge, I can't remember being in a fight unless you can jog my memory.
Well,
I'm a lover, not a hater.
I'll let you know my little story, because you probably wouldn't remember it, because at the time you were so incredibly pissed that I very much doubt that you would remember anything of it.
I'm racking my brains, I'm also quite scared.
Okay, looking at the pair of you, I can't picture a time when either of you would have been in a fight.
No,
not
indeed,
at all.
right. So it was your birthday.
Unless obviously I headbutted someone, because it's a big weapon.
It must have been like your 21st birthday around there. We went to what was formerly Buster's. We went to Vice Versa. And at this point, you were already well gone.
We started my 21st in the pub, in one pub, the other side of, I can't remember what it's called, the other side of Loughborough. I've got the only reason I remember I've got photos in there.
Phantom,
Orange Tree.
No, Orange Tree.
Anyway, sorry, carry on your story.
Yeah, anyway, so you're completely wankered at this point, and you're sitting down, we're all around a table, there's about 5 or 6 of us, and there's our friend, Tub there as well.
By the way,
from we went to school
still don't know what you're talking about. This is new for me as well.
So Selby's sitting there. He's kind of slouching in the chair, and there's this, there's a woman standing behind him.
Oh Jesus!
And
I didn't.
Selby would sit back in his chair, lean quite far back, and sniff her arse.
It's about that height, isn't he?
For about 10 minutes, just leaning back, going.
Dude, why would you?
Did I do it for comedic purposes?
No, you weren't. I don't think you even knew anyone was watching you. I think you were just being fucking weird.
I think I did it for comedic purposes.
Not in the slightest.
One for the team. Be the Joker. Be the centre of attention. It's your birthday after all.
Well, apparently you can't remember anything about this. So
this is all new to me.
She had a boyfriend there. He's quite a big dude, and like I said, me and our friend Tub was sitting on the opposite table, and we just watched you for like 10 minutes doing this, and we think, and not a word was said between me and Tub.
He was 10 minutes.
At least 10 minutes
sniffing someone's
backside. And I was pretty pissed.
Couldn't get enough.
Too.
Dogs do it.
And I didn't. I couldn't get up. Asked to get up and say anything to him and say like, back it in. So I'm just sitting there having my drink with my. You're welcome. With Tub. And we're both watching you, and we don't say anything to each other either. We just kind of look at each other and think, in like 2 minutes' time, we're gonna have to like dive over this table and take this dude off you, because he's just gonna wail on you. And that's the closest I've ever been to a fight. And the
closest you've ever been to a fight is Pete sniffing a girl's arse.
Indeed, yeah.
That's quite far away from being in a fight.
I consider myself quite lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put my hands in the air and go, I can't remember that at all, but I genuinely believe it probably did happen. Because you're not the sort of person just to, like, reach for that kind of story.
And you know that you're that kind of person.
I don't recall that, and I was obviously monumentally
Would you have really
pissed.
joined in and stopped it, though? If he spent 10 minutes sniffing a bird's arse, then he probably deserves a bit of a kick.
Oh, he would. I would.
Especially if she was there with the bloke.
Oh, of course. I probably would have let him, like, give him a good kicking for like a minute or two.
Thank you.
And then I would have pulled him off.
Well, you wouldn't kick him in the face
I don't
want down, would you?
Beg your pardon?
No. Well, I probably wouldn't. I would have taken him off you rather than pulled him off, obviously. Well, we weren't a bad-looking guy.
So hang on. The nearest I've got to a fight is something I can't remember.
Well, I don't know if you... Well, it wouldn't have been much of a fight. You would have just been demolished.
So I actually didn't get in a fight with him?
No. That like I said, that was the closest I remember
what a wimp I am.
being into a fight.
Yeah,
even in my drunken stupor, I still couldn't get in a fight. But, Ben?
Not really. I'd hate saying like I'm a lover, not a fighter. Our business, but the close. I've been in a couple of scraps. So there's one that really stands out.
I think anything before the age of 16 doesn't count.
I know
unless it was a proper one.
This was quite old. So I was up in do you remember Pulse?
Yes.
The nightclub in Loughborough.
It was a nightclo local to us.
I don't know what
and
it's called.
Also,
now.
it was the place where everyone went to. It was brilliant.
It was the only option
you had. You had 2 rooms that you could go into.
But it was really good.
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
I wouldn't go that far. It was what we had.
I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, mate.
Are your-
Every week
Yeah.
going there.
Are your memories of Pulse good?
I think mine are.
Yes.
There you go. It was good.
But I think I could have been anywhere else,
I don't
and
think
they
so.
would have been just as good.
I
Listen
don't
to
think
Venga
so.
Boys with your feet sticking on the floor.
Indeed.
Yeah. But I was up there with my brother, and this is obviously when he was single. He's now married with many kids. Yeah, he was up there, and he'd got some girl, and they were having a bit of a fun time on the dance floor. And then her boyfriend turned up. And he was with a party of probably about 3 or 4 of them who were there. But they were all so heavily drunk, as was my brother at the time. So this girl's friend came and grabbed me and said that you probably want to have a word with your brother because a fella's now turned up. And he was that drunk that he was going, I don't care, don't worry about it. I'll sort them out when they get to me. And these 4 lads went over to the toilet to discuss what they were going to do. So I thought I'd be quite forthright and join them in the toilet to kind of calm the situation down. When I got to the toilet, I was kind of started on by 1, but the other 3 that said they were going to start on me were that drunk that they all had their heads on the walls as they were trying to take a piss and couldn't stand up at all. So it was probably the most heroic I've ever felt in my life that I fought off 4 people. But when I say fight, it was the easiest thing ever being a sober person and taking on 4 people that just couldn't stand up. If you just touched them, they fell over.
So you just assaulted 4 people.
They started it. I bet it just kept pushing them and they would fall over.
So basically, 4 people having a piss, and you walked in there all like Billy Big Boy going like, come on in, and they're all hammered, and you walked out going, look at all them lot in there,
But
sorted them out.
there was 4 of them on the floor. It was genuinely, I felt really cool at the end of it, but there wasn't that much effort in it.
We are the worst 3 people for fighting.
Why did you bring this one up?
Well, I was interested.
Have all of them.
Well,
have all the subjects
I
you could have
didn't-
said.
We're so cool.
Well, the thing is, because obviously people listening to the podcast, a lot of people don't know who we are. They get some kind of idea who we are. They know that Ben's an idiot and you're a twat, but like they will form a picture in their minds, and I think by now they know that we are not really the fighting types.
I think it's quite life affirming in a way that
I like it.
We've reached this age, and we used to go out drinking every weekend and getting horribly pissed, and we never
to be
got
fair,
into fights.
No, I think that. I also have. I've got a couple of friends out there that used to go out.
Get out of it. You have not.
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah.
No way.
One or two.
No way.
We're
no
here.
way. Yeah. Good. Who else is
But
there?
they would get into fights every single weekend. However, if I was there, it never happened. They would never once get into a scrap. So I used to think that it's probably my calming, soothing sort of persona that would stop them from doing that. If
That's
I
what I
wasn't
thought.
there, they'd come back. I break my wrist this week from punching someone in the face.
I always think it was my calming voice.
Well,
And,
you say that, but
like
my
Grant
only story about
Torrington's.
being a fight is because of you.
yeah, but that's
Closest to being a
He wasn't
fight.
starting a
Still-
fight, was
he
he?
still
He was
wasn't a fight.
sniffing a girl's
no,
arse.
no one swung a punch. No one swung a punch there. No one swung a punch there.
Only because he didn't see you.
Actually,
I want to throw a punch at you right now.
I didn't throw a punch, but I kind of been in a fight at and it was at oh Jesus, it was at university. I did go to university for a long time,
Really?
and you can't even
Doing what?
You
Well, we
Wayne,
don't need to speak about that.
What
No,
did
we
you
don't
say?
need to speak
Was it
about it.
photography or something like that you did?
I did.
One of
but-
them really nothing subjects.
Thank you very much. I did photography and video, basically production values, which I now continue with my line of work, kind of.
Well, that's what we're doing now.
Exactly.
Right this minute.
He's not taking
Producing.
Many You're not taking many photos.
4 years of university produced this podcast. That's why it sounds so good. Anyway, 4 years at university, Wayne.
Yes.
We'll discuss your university career in future episodes. I think we need an extended edition, really.
I never went to university.
No, and it
Oh,
shows.
yeah, you can say
but it shows you're not well read.
No.
No.
No,
Anyway,
not at all.
we had oh Jesus, we had I'm going to really be careful with names now. We had a varsity match. So I went to university at De Montfort University. So basically, it was a former polytechnic university, and you've got Leicester University as well. So Leicester University, basically the posh one, where people did archaeology and
You weren't part of the
science and maths and all that sort of thing. And if you were kind of like arty farty and all that sort of stuff, you went to De Montfort. De Montfort's actually a decent uni now, apparently. But
Not when you were there.
No, the first thing we did when we got there, I did marketing, and they said, "Can you come up with a line for De Montfort University in the first day when we were there?" And I said, "Get DM used to it." And
That is pretty good.
And and they just looked at me and went, "Oh Jesus, one of those." And I was like, "It's the best line ever." Like,
That's why I like it.
just get DM used to it, because by then we realised we're in the wrong uni. Anyway, so we had the varsity football match, and it was at the football ground. It was at the King Power, which was brand new at the time. And when you got one side of one stand being Leicester University, one side of the same stand being De Montfort University, absolutely fine. About 20 to 25 seats between the two, and everything's completely fine. We turned up absolutely twatted, like proper, and we had cans on us and all sorts. And it was
absinthe.
But it was a right mess, because we were in the stands drinking, and they're all there not drinking, and we're like, but we're there to watch the football. There was absolutely no problem. It was fine. There was no worries at all. We didn't know that there would be many people from Leicester Uni. They might be in another stand, whatever. I'd been to Welford Road for the rugby match before, and it was quite boisterous, but anyway. And all of a sudden, we turned to our right, and we were on the edge of the De Montfort University section. So we have the 25 rows free to our right, and then you've got the university lot, the Leicester University lot. And all of a sudden, a friend of mine, who I'm going to call Killer, because that was what we called him, Killer.
What a name.
Turned to me and said, "Look at them," to which I looked to my right, and there's about 50 to 75 people waving 50 and £20 notes at us as a kind of gesture to say, like, we're rich and you're poor, look at us. And
oh God,
it kind of like, I looked at them and I was like, that's quite funny. And it carried on for about a minute until one poor twat on their side,
Clearly not poor.
Well, no. Well, he was in the next few seconds, because he waved it a bit too hard, and about £100 just kind of flew out of his hands across these 25 empty seats. To which Killer just went, "Well, sod this," and just ran over and started picking up these £20 notes for himself.
If you call Killer, you're allowed to do things like that, aren't you?
We all stood and watched and went, "Oh God!" And I'm like, I can see what's going to happen. Of course, across comes three from their side to say, "There our money." Killer's a big lad, and he just told him,
our money.
That's
I'm
our
sure
money.
you went to uni.
Told you I went to the Poly, but basically says like, that's our money. To Killer, turned around and went, "No, it ain't now." Come back, and then their three turned into seven. Killer's one turned into three.
Were you one of the three?
No.
Okay.
And it all kicked off big time, and and proper kick-off as well. To the point of me and a friend who I'm going to call Mendez, because that's what we called him. In fact, that's actually what he called me, and then vice versa. That's why I called him.
Great story.
Anyway, and basically we looked at each other and went, "Oh God, we're going to have to get involved." A, because we're at the front and we're blocking the access for other people who want to get involved. That's the main reason. We were in the fire exit. We blocked the way for people to get involved with the fight. So we actually had to get involved ourselves. So we kind of wander over. And I realised quickly that I'm on the right row, because Killer had somehow made his way up one row, and he's fighting off all these people. And I'm like, look, I'm fine. I can be behind him. I'm not going to get involved. And then the opportunity arose to take a bit of a cheap shot on someone who'd come across a left hook. And you just get, you got slightly involved for a momentary.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with any of that.
Yeah.
But it's not a great story. But that's the only fight I've ever been in. I'm going to say peer pressure.
Football hooliganism.
I'm going to say peer pressure, because I was forced into, because people wanted to get involved, and
because you were stood in the fire exit.
I was stood in the way,
is.
and I got pressured into getting involved into something that was not my starting. But the moral of the story is that when you walk out of a football ground £120 richer than when you walked in, everything's fine.
It's worth beating a few people up.
Everything's fine.
Don't do violence, kids.
Fuck off.
So guess what happened to me at work this week?
You killed a hooker.
No.
You
Not this week.
you locked her in a toilet, and you blamed it on your manager to get a promotion.
Are we still going on the hooker thing?
Yep.
No, not this week.
There you go.
I accidentally joined the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community for my work.
Accidentally.
Accidentally.
And before I tell this story, I have nothing against anybody that is within that community at all.
Well,
I am just not.
You are talking to two people who've been to. I've been to 2 gay weddings.
Okay.
You've been to one. You've been to...
No, well, technically 2, but it was the same couple.
And fair play.
What?
Well, they got married.
They had a ceremony there and a ceremony there.
Yeah, they had like 2
okay.
ceremonies. They had one, the legal wedding in Belgium, and another one in Portugal.
I was at the Portugal one, and a relative of mine. So there we go. We are. Yeah, it's a.
We're very open people around us, but
we are an LBGT
friendly.
LGBT. I think it's QI as well. I've learnt all this stuff since.
We've got, carry on.
But no, it came about because I'm
gay.
Yeah, I'm very much.
He's not actually gay.
No, I'm not,
He's
and I have nothing against anybody that is, but. I work on, so I have my previous reviews that I've been given. I got told that I was very almost shy. I couldn't speak to people that was stop laughing at me. Talk to people higher up than me. I needed to grow my confidence. All right. So we have at work a daily communication that comes down.
Grow your confidence. Grab his shit.
Yeah. So we have a daily communication that comes down, and there was this one that came down. It was from the LGBT society,
right?
And it said that we would, anybody that felt strongly about LGBT, we would get together, meet once a month down in her office. I thought that's brilliant. I'll get to like brown nose a little bit, meet new people. Is that there? Just stop it with the brown nose.
I never said anything.
That one.
I'm just delighted. I'm just delighted that the head of my beer has actually finally gone down from when I poured it at the start.
Yeah, so they would meet up once a month, and then once quarterly we'd get together and we'd develop all of our feedback to the board as to what we're going to do to grow the LGBT society. And I thought, you know what? Based on everything from my feedback from my last review, this...
Sorry for my coughing fit.
This is for me. However, I didn't know what LGBT stood for. So, quite ignorant of me, yeah, I know... But
is it on Championship
How
Manager
does that
when
happen?
Did
you know it was roughly like a gay community?
No,
or
I've got no idea. So I started thinking in my head about what LGBT could possibly stand for.
Is it a centre midfielder on Championship Manager who can play left, right, and going forward?
It could be. So I was going through all these things. So I was trying to come up with different things as to what LGBT could stand for, and honestly, in my head, I went through so many different answers what it could be, but I came up with my head that it stood for "Let's Get Britain Tidy." And as soon as I thought, it's got to be. We're talking about recycling, something like that. That's what we must be wanting to get to do. So,
what was that guy on the logo putting in the bin?
So. Yeah, I thought, yeah, definitely for me, I can talk. I'm not that fussed about it, but I'm doing this purely because it'd be good for my career to start doing this sort of thing. So I clicked on the button and said, yes, I want to join the society. Straight away, pings up with an email. So thank you for joining the LGBT society of where I work. So need to ask you a few questions first. So first one is asking me about myself and things that I like doing and my hobbies and all that. So I'm feeling I like to play darts. I'm a guitarist.
Podcaster.
I'll now add that in. Then secondly, it asks for my work background, so what I've been doing in that, and then it asks me how long I've considered myself to be LGBT. So, but in my head, I'm not reading LGBT. I'm reading. So how long have you considered yourself? Let's get Britain Tidy.
So you're like, since I've been chewing gum.
Well, my first reaction was that's a really badly worded question. So the first thing I do when I join the society is to make sure that they ask these questions correctly, because how long have you considered yourself? Let's get Britain Tidy. It was completely wrong. So I'm writing this out. It's like a job interview, sort of job application.
Indeed, yeah.
So I'm writing down. I've always been well into my recycling. I've even said that when I go to a music festival, which you wouldn't have had the joy of, Pete.
Nope.
I always go back and pick up the cups on the way back, and I'm writing this all out. I'm taking a lot of time over doing this. Probably about 3/4 of an hour. From
So
start
just to claim
finish.
money back at the bar.
Yeah, but it's all about keeping Britain tidy. And then it.
Did you mention your community service that you had to do and you had to pick up litter on the M1?
No,
Right.
not on that one. But then the fourth question was, have you ever been discriminated against for being LGBT? At which point the penny dropped a little bit that it probably wasn't Let's Get Britain Tidy.
Indeed.
So fortunately, there's a Google chat form come up on the site. So I spoke to a friend and said, dude, what does LGBT stand for? So he comes back and said lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. And at which point I finished writing that off. But at some point, and I still get the messages today for every meeting that goes on to invite me to the Let's Get Britain Tidy.
How can a man who's for so many years been a subscriber to Grindr not know what LGBT means?
I honestly didn't know, mate. I got no idea what it was. But yeah, I get all the invites to go down to them. We've had Leicester Pride going on this weekend, Manchester Pride, Brighton Pride, and all that. I get invited to them, and fair play to them. Much respect to people.
Brighton Pride is very fun. I've been a couple of
great
times.
respect to all the people of that community. I'm just not one of them. But no, I accidentally.
Well, you get the newsletter.
I do.
You're a paid member.
Yeah, you're signed up.
I am. Quite accidentally thinking I was trying to start a society about recycling. But yeah. That's pretty shallow of me, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and incredibly gay.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I'd like to fetch you before I go. I'll be back tomorrow night so we can drink some more. I don't care what the people are thinking. I'm not drunk, I'm just a drinking. I said more, another round. I said more, another round. I said more, another round. One more round. Get me down.